Is
Did you see the article in the Gazette about a local trivia guy?
Mark is, I'm not sure, Mark, you'll tell me if I'm wrong here, but I got you're, I believe, one of the founding members of the Rotary Business Club of Montreal. I know that Linda Bellouin, I believe, is the immediate past president, if I'm not mistaken. And the Rotary Business Club, to me, it's something that Rotary, in a sense, used to be in its original incarnation in terms of being a networking club for business people. Something that has changed dramatically, I would say, over the last 40 years. And the intent here is that particularly for people who are in business, our club's a little bit older, so it's not like we're all going to the office every day. But the intention here is to, again, recreate the possibilities of having some interaction at a business level. Having said that, I'm going to pass it over to you. And literally, I think that this is something that really is new to all of us. We just heard about it recently when you told us about it. So we're quite interested in finding out exactly what's going on here. So the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you for the introduction. So, correct, I'm one of the founding members of the Rotary Means Business Montreal chapter. A bit about myself. I've been in Rotary for about 7 years now. I'm a past president. Did get this year a Paul Harris pin, so I was very proud of that. During my year as presidency, we were able to achieve the platinum level citation, which was all of the objectives were reached that year. A record number of funds was raised. We initiated a lot of new projects, trying to think of new ways to raise funds. And I did receive from the district the Under 40 Leadership Award. So I am a diehard Rotarian, I think, as probably most of us are, right? And I always hear great things about your club as just being a club full of diehard Rotarians. So thank you for the opportunity to speak. I know I was trying to speak earlier last year, but unfortunately I sort of double booked at the charity golf tournament that my club ran. And since I'm surprisingly one of the only golf enthusiasts in my club, and it was at my golf course, I had to make sure I was there to run it. So unfortunately I couldn't be there that time, but thank you for rebooking me. And yeah, so just would be great to share with you what we're doing. So the founding members is myself, District Governor nominee Michelle Wong Kisong. There is Amina Gerba, who's also past president, and then Linda Bellouin, immediate past president, and double past president Santoso, which I think many must know. So we founded this, the Montreal chapter. So I think I just like to jump in sharing my screen a bit and where this really came from. So it's an international fellowship. So the Rotary Means Business Montreal fellowship is an official fellowship at the international level. It's one of the youngest, founded in 2012, to what Jim was referring to. So I do believe that, yes, in the past there was a business networking focus. You know, we're always trying to balance between, because, you know, as Rotarians, we're here for service. But there is, at the end, a lot of us who are still working, you know, we have to work, we got to eat, we got to stuff, you know, we have to keep building ourselves. So we think that networking or business networking, of course, you know, it has to be done in a way that, you know, there's no conflicts. There's a way to do ethical business, but I'll get a little bit more into that in a bit, right? So this fellowship was founded in 2012, and the focus of it was, if you look at the mission statement, and is to support other Rotarians in business And a quote by Paul Harris himself saying that if anyone tells you that it is reprehensible to make $1 or $2 for the wife and babies from club associates in straightforward business transactions, tell that person that some foreign substance has gotten into his carburetor, right? So long story short, and I think what's very important we mentioned about the four-way test is at the end of the day, if we're true Rotarians operating and following the four-way test, and if we're doing business with another member in following that four-way test, that's ethical business. Of course, you know, we don't want people joining Rotary just to do business, right? Like the purpose of being a Rotarian is for service. But a Rotarian, the Rotary structure itself, if someone is not really being what we call following the four-way test and being a person of service, well, they won't really qualify to maintain their Rotary membership status, and therefore they wouldn't be allowed to participate in a Rotary fellowship, right? So we do think that the structure of Rotary itself would be self-vetting, again, just based by the four-way test and how we conduct ourselves. But really, the focus of Rotary Means Business, it's a networking club, right? So it's for people to network. Of course, nobody is obligated to refer business, right? Because that would not be beneficial to all concerned or fair to all concerned. But it's a place where people could come to talk business if they'd like to. The type of meeting structures that they have, it resembles similar to a Rotary meeting. You know, we do have a bell to start the meeting. If there's any fees, there'd be a fee to be paid when you come in. You introduce any sponsors. There's people who can introduce themselves, so a little bit of just elevator pitch talking about what you do. There could be classification talks, so people who go into things more specifically. You can share success stories, so people can talk about, let's say, any business that was done that was successful. And there is a networking time, right? So time for just people to talk and exchange and see. And if there's potential ways that Rotarians can support each other, then so be it, right? Of course, in an ethical manner. So this idea was brought to some of the members of my club from past President Amina Gerba, because she was part of this fellowship for quite a few years. This is something new to me that she brought to the club this year. And you know, her coming from Cameroon, Africa, and having a lot of international business, this is something that has been very beneficial for her. If we jump to it, you know, there's chapters all over the world, right? So we see that there's all over the U.S., in Europe, there's in Asia, India, Africa, Australia, South America. But you know, when this idea was brought to us, we said there's no one in Canada, right? So we're proud to say that we did found the first chapter in Canada, so RMB Montreal. And the focus is not to just be at the city level, but it would be to grow this, right, further. So in speaking with the current district governor, Hadi, he's very interested in this, and he says we should talk about this in Ottawa. So I'm going to be talking to the Ottawa clubs. I'm going to be speaking to the Quebec City clubs. Meeting Rotarians from Toronto. They want me to come speak about it in Toronto. So along with my day job, this is going to be very busy. But there's great interest from clubs across these two provinces already. So having to put my working hat on for this. What do we do? You know, so there's the networking meetings that we can have. Also, you do have your own profile here, and you could have your classification, and you can put the services that you provide, and from there you can search members, right? So what's interesting is that, let's say if I want to support a local restaurant, because restaurants are having a tough time right now, I could scroll down to you know, there's restaurants and try to find any Rotarians that might be running a restaurant, right? There's real estate, there's physicians, photographers. So just, you know, see if we can support other Rotarians in business for the type of things that we do. And you could even create maybe little groups, right? So for myself, being in the financial services, accountants, tax lawyers, notaries, these kind of things have always been part of my network that I need to have, right? So and people can find you. So this is at the international level. You create this profile. What does it cost to be part of the Rotary Means Business Fellowship? At the international level, it is, you have two choices. There is a international, an annual fee of $15 USD, or one-time lifetime $75. That's it. So $75, you're part of the fellowship, and you're allowed to attend any fellowship in the world, any event, right? So any chapter. I chose a $75 one just because it seemed to make sense, economies of wise, economically. And we did register the RMB Montreal chapter as a nonprofit organization. This is completely separate from any Rotary club, right? This is not linked to one Rotary club. There's members from all over Montreal that have already started to join, and it's separate. And if people want to join the chapter, that's where we're still ironing out exactly how we're going to do it, because it's a non-for-profit. There's no beneficial owner. Anything that is paid into the chapter would be just to fund any activities that we do, right? But let's say if you just join the international level, like you register for the $75 USD and you want to come. I mean, if we have a event or networking event at a restaurant, you come, you pay your food and drink, and that's it, right? So that could be the extent of the cost for you. If someone were wanting to link themselves to a chapter, at the moment, we again, being self-funded, there's no beneficial owner. Anything that would be paid in fees would just be to cover any of our operating costs. So since it's a registered organization, we have to do tax filing every year. The exciting thing that we created was a website. So the RMB Montreal website, where we're going to have people where they can have their own profile and advertise on the website. So there's web hosting fees that we have to manage. That the founding members, we've all made loans and to the organization, or paid to just get this up and running. Again, this is it's a non-for-profit, right? No beneficial owner. So at the moment, there's no membership fee to join, like annual membership fee to be linked to the chapter. We're saying, just how about a symbolic $100 registration fee, and that's it right now, because we can't really do networking meetings where there's a cost, and we're trying to set it up. But right now, that's what we've kept the fee to, is just a one-time registration fee. And if there were other annual membership fees, it would be linked around just our costs of running the chapter. Right? But again, at the initial level, it's just, you can register at the international level, and once we start having events, then it would just be you're paying your cost for that networking event. Right? Let me jump here. So I think the challenge that we have right now, so we do have a lot of people that have joined, but it's very difficult to have a networking meeting on Zoom, because it's one person talking at a time, and you can't have people sort of rubbing elbows. Apparently, I'm attending a different type of networking meeting right now with one of the Chamber of Commerce, where apparently you can break off into these rooms. I'm going to see how it works and see if it makes sense. But at the moment, our activities have been stalled from being able to meet. But hopefully we can meet sometime mid to the end of this year is I think the hope. Couple of success stories. Just a month ago, so one person that did join from the Laval Rive Nord Club, they do business internationally, and they reached out to the club in Brazil, and the president of the chapter there reached out to me, just wanting to verify the identity of this person. He's indeed a member. and he started to help him make some connections over there to start expanding his business in Brazil, right? So it's I think that one thing with this fellowship, of course, and like all fellowships, it all depends on the interest of one member to the other. For example, I'm part of the Scotch Fellowship. I was thinking about the rum as well because I enjoy both. You know, who knows? The list goes on, right? But there's one for, you know, chocolate. I think, you know, there's curling. There's any type of fellowship. So of course, if you're not really active in business, this might not be something for you. But for those Rotarians that are you know, still active in their business, this is what we feel is a space that is separate from our you know, just there's a time and a place for everything. You know, when we're talking about service and doing our regular Rotary stuff, that's what we should be doing in a regular Rotary meeting. And if there is people who want to talk business, that should be a time and a place. So it could be done in this area here. But of course, to be able to do that, you have to be a Rotarian in good standing. And Rotarians who do want to join, you know, we would be just checking with the clubs that, hey, is this everything in good standing here, right, with this member. So with their club. So I've been talking for about 15, almost 20 minutes. So I think I will leave it open to questions. Happy to answer any that may come.
Well, Mark, a very interesting presentation. I'm not sure how many of our members are aware of the number of fellowship clubs that are available through Rotary. If you go to an international convention and the House of Fellowship, all of these little clubs have a stand. I've joined 2 of them, vintage cars and wine tasting. And every Rotary convention, the wine group get together at restaurants, etc. But yours is perhaps even better for being more local and more direct, perhaps even.
Yeah, well, it's we're trying to bring this to Canada. So glad you like it. And I'll see you at golf hopefully next year, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, there you go.
I have a question, Mark. I'm just curious that you say that it's been open here in Montreal for 8 years. No.
The international level, it started 8 years ago. We just opened it in June. It was our charter inception date, and well, in the middle of the current situation, right? So
okay, that's good, because I was thinking that I was like really out of it, you know.
Yeah. No.
But that's good. Now, and if I understand correctly, it's only open to people that are already a member of a regular Rotary club.
Correct.
Okay. And how many members do you have now?
Currently, official members are 24, and there are 6 that I recently spoke to. So that there's in process there. And something I forgot to mention, this is open to Rotaract as well. So Rotaractors are able to join this.
Okay. And have they all been advised of that?
I've spoken to, yes, the 2 clubs, downtown Montreal and Montreal Club. Okay. And there's some interest there. So okay.
There is another Rotaract club that we are now sponsoring since last year.
Yes.
At Jean de Brébeuf.
Right. So there, I sent an email, and I have yet to hear back, but I will try again. Unless maybe you know someone I can reach out to.
I'll follow up with that for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Can you hear me, Jim?
Yes. Hello. How are you doing, Sir Franklin?
They just arrived. Okay.
My old friend.
I heard a good speech.
That's right, Mark. You would know him, eh? He caused a lot of trouble down in Old Montreal.
I can thank the speaker if you wish, Jim.
Well, we'll come back to you in a minute, and we'll do that. Thank you, David.
Yeah.
Just so that, and Mark, you had mentioned something during your the conversation about your members not being able to talk to each other because of being on the social media. what we're on right now, Zoom,
Yeah.
allows you to bring people up into different rooms.
Yeah. So that's, I mentioned that where I know that at the district they tried to do that, and I'm not sure how well that worked, but I'm looking into trying to use that, because if so, we can try to get our first real meeting open, right? So,
That's right.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. There's got to be some way of saying, okay, here's who's going to be speaking.
Yeah.
Who wants to see this person? Who wants to see that person? And saying it up, I guess. I don't know, but anyway, I'll leave that with you.
Appreciate it.
I've used Zoom with other groups who use the breakout rooms quite effectively.
Yeah.
But the people in the rooms need to do their part of the job too. But that's
Right.
it can work well.
Actually, you kind of need a leader in each group to
Yeah, that can work. Yeah.
yeah, to drag everybody along.
Okay.
Any other questions there from the crowd here?
Should I stop sharing
Can
my
I
screen?
have a question, Jim?
Certainly, go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, Mark, I have a question. You have a chapter in Montreal, you said. I'm not a Rotarian in Montreal. I'm a Rotarian in a different country at the moment. Can I become a member of of your chapter, having been a member of or still a member of another club in another country like Bahrain at the moment?
I believe the short answer is yes, right? That geography does not prevent. I'd have to just check with District Governor nominee Michelle just to make sure that because he's a bit more knowledgeable on those details. But you can always join the international level and always participate in our events. So, you'll always be welcome to anything that we do. That's for sure.
Thank you.
My
Mark,
pleasure.
I have a question, Mark. I may have missed this, but when times get back to normal, how often do you plan to meet?
Yes, I did not mention that. So the goal at this point would be once a month, right? So, because we're already meeting, our weekly Rotary meetings, and I know everyone's busy, and especially people are working too. But we think that once a month, people can meet, exchange, maybe make some contacts, and then they would go meet those contacts separately, and then next month come back and so on and so forth. So the focus would be once a month, a type of 5 à 7 happy hour thing. And after a long day, have some drinks, talk, share, right? Sound good? Arnie, does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Perfect.
Anybody else? David, I would ask you to come in now and thank our speaker for us, please.
Well, thank you for such an interesting talk. Rotary got its name by 5 friends that would rotate from one home to the other. And that's where the name Rotary comes. Now that evolved into other clubs, and districts are formed, and finally an international one in Winnipeg. And so you are a process of the progress of Rotary from humble beginnings to now things virtually. In fact, this meeting is one of those examples. But you have expanded to include people from all over the world are able to communicate with each other. Little did Paul Harris, the founder of Rotary, think that this would happen. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency is how I always refer to David when he was on my class. So,
Okay. Mark, this is a tradition I know that started off actually in the old Montreal club, but after David says his thank you to our speaker, I always give him a score. And since he doesn't have video, I simply hold up my fingers, but we don't tell him what the score was.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
I would give it an 8.5.
Ah.
I was nice to you this week, David.
Too generous.
When I first met David, the thing that I said was, one day I hope I'm able to speak like him. So it's inspiration.
You will notice that people that are listening in, that the speaker said, Your Excellency. And this is the type of respect I deserve, right?
That must be your honorary consulship, David.
That's right, yeah.
Don't push it, David. Thank you to you both. Does anybody have anything that they would like to share with the group? Happy bucks or a happy event or?
Well, I don't think anybody could call it happy of what we've witnessed today in Washington. I think I tuned in to TV probably around 11 this morning, and it's still on. And I just cannot believe that even after this, Trump is still not conceding in any way. He's just saying, go home peacefully. That's about the most he can be nice about, but he's certainly not conceding. And he's still saying we were robbed.
He said, I love you.
Yeah, and the lady who was shot has died. So there was a murder there this afternoon.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Well, they originally said she was shot out in the grounds, and tonight they're saying she was inside the Capitol.
Now the news is that she has died. She was shot in the chest.
Oh, my God.
So there you go.
Yeah. Well, then we should all be thankful and be
Well, I guess
putting
we
money
could
into the pot
could
to say
be-
that we're in Canada.
And we could thank the Georgia voters, I guess.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's definitely-
Georgia voted Democrat. Two
And
senators.
we should also be thankful that we live in a time that has the technology where we have mute buttons for our TV.
Yeah. And Trudeau has expressed his regrets from Vancouver, by the way.
What's he doing traveling?
Mr. Maida, good.
Who knows?
Okay, we don't want to get in trouble here for talking too much about politics, so I'm
No.
going to move
No,
this.
well,
There's ears in the walls.
today there's an exception.
Yes, I guess so.
I
Do
was
the assignments
doing
next
my
week.
best to understand Legault immediately before we started this meeting. And I think anything but is settled.